Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Monday, January 25th, 2021, 6:30 regular City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Vreeland.
Here.
Councilor Zins.
Here.
Pop.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Kramer.
Here.
Roll call is complete. Consent agenda.
Item 3 is approval of City Council meeting minutes, January 11th, 13th, and 20th. Item 7 is the filing of correspondence listed on your agenda. Item 9A is to reschedule the following regular City Council meetings due to holidays from Monday, October 11th to Tuesday, October 12th, and from Monday, December 27th to Tuesday, December 28th, 2021. And item 10 is approval of claims, payroll, and receipts.
Anybody have any questions on consent?
I don't
Just
have
one
any
item.
questions, Mayor, but there are some items on the planning and zoning that I will get on next meeting's agenda, or recommendations from the planning and zoning. I don't know if everybody noticed those on the minutes. So,
And then the other,
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Peterson. The discussion, I have one item. If you notice that letter from Doug Greger to St. Louis County Cares, we were hoping we were going to get our share to give out to our local businesses, and the counties decided that they will allocate all of the CARES funding to local businesses, but that is exactly what they're doing. They've been contacting all of our local businesses and getting grants out to them. So instead of, I guess, another piece of the wheel there, they're going to take care of it instead of stripping it out. So any other discussion on consent? Not hearing any. Roll call, please.
Zins.
Yes.
Pop.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Guest Citizens Forum, John Stordahl, East Range Sportsman's Club funding for skeet, and I believe that's under number 4 in the council's packet. John?
Yes. We applied for a grant last year. Of course, the virus took care of that, as you see from the Minnesota DNR. And I got a verbal okay that the grant's going to go through. We don't have a deadline on it this year, so we're not pushing it, but we can't start till it's approved. But as you see by our ski projections, our costs went up over $10,000 from last year. Materials, why not, right?
Yep.
So we're trying to plug ahead here and so long. And not only am I president of the club, I'm the head coach for the high school teams. It's Virginia and Mount Iron Gilbert, Rock Ridge, I guess they call it, Mesabi East. Mesabi East is the host team. We're trying to get ready for kids right now. So we've got the trap team. I think we're going to have 30 kids up there this spring where we're just trapped. But every time you turn around, the kids want to shoot. We're getting kids all the time. And if we get the skeet program going, we could add another 10 to 12 kids, 15 kids maybe, going in a different direction. But also we're getting a lot of interest from the shooters and trappers. So when are you going to get that skeet tower going? As you know, Ed did a lot of work when he was designing the trap fields, that he made it so he could overlay a skeet field on station number 3. So we're kind of got it all laid out and going and see what happens. And you see the costs in front of you, and we're hoping that you guys can assist with the progress on this.
Okay.
One question I would have, John, have you approached the school district at all to see if they have any funds available to help with that, being it's a high school sport?
It is not, we are not part of the high school. We are not part of this Minnesota State High School League. We are the Minnesota State Clay Target League. The high school does not administer our program at all. They don't, we run it. The high school lets us use their names and blah, 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 and support the program, but they do not have any monies for it.
Okay.
We're kind of lost out in space, you know?
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. I didn't realize that. So it's definitely a good thing for the more things we can have for the youth out there to be active in and doing rather than being at home on their smartphones and computers and stuff. So it's definitely a good project. I'm wondering, I don't know, maybe Wade, you could help me out. Do you think there's any money in our recreation budget that could possibly go towards that?
The town of Hoyt use mining effect money, just so you know.
Okay.
Is Attorney Brumfeld on?
Yep, I'm here.
Mitch, we as a city, can we give money to an outside organization outside of the city of White Lakes legally?
Yeah, so this gets into what we call the public purpose doctrine on whether this would be an appropriate expenditure of public funds. I do want to disclose to you that in my capacity as the city attorney in the city of Evlith, where I'm also the city attorney, this same request has been made to the Evlith City Council for a donation of money. I have already given the city of Evlith a legal opinion that for specifically the city of Evlith, I did not believe in my legal opinion that it satisfied the public purpose doctrine. Therefore, I recommended to the city of Evlith that they would not be able to donate money to this, but that has to do more with geographic location, because let's face it, this skeet range is pretty far removed from the city of Evlith. You know, if it was located in the heart of between Evlith and Gilbert, or in the town of Fayal or something like that, you know, I think maybe it would have been geographically connected enough to Evlith that maybe it would have satisfied the public purpose doctrine for Evlith. But I just wanted to make sure you're aware, because if you hear from somebody in Evlith that, geez, Mitch Brunfeld told us that we couldn't donate because it didn't meet the public purpose doctrine, I just wanted to explain the reason I did that is that this project is frankly too geographically removed from Evlith for the city of Evlith to legitimately donate money to it. However, White Lakes is a different case. I mean, you know, with the location of this facility, and, you know, it very much is part of the overall outdoor community recreation opportunities that we have in our kind of three or four communities over here: Aurora, White Lakes, Town of White by Wabick. It is very much part of the fabric of the community outdoor recreation opportunities that these East Range communities try to maintain for their residents. And so I think that it's a bit of a close call, but in my legal opinion, I think this would meet the public purpose doctrine for the community of White Lakes and for the city of White Lakes to put in some matching funds to help match what the DNR is putting in. And then just to kind of follow up on Councilor Pop's comments, with the town of White, they use their mining effects tax dollars, which of course, mining effects tax dollars are really earmarked towards cooperative types of projects between local units of government. And I think if we do have some mining effects tax dollars remaining in the budget, I think that would be a natural fit for this project. So Councilor Zins, to answer your question, I think it would be legal for the city to donate to this project, given its benefit to the overall community and that it is geographically connected enough to White Lakes and its residents that it would be a legitimate public purpose.
Okay, thank you.
Any other?
Can I make one comment?
Yep, go ahead,
Can I
John.
make one comment?
Yep.
Yeah, you do realize that the property is owned by the Town of White, and the range is theoretically theirs. We're just a managing agent.
Okay. Becky, maybe you can help answer this. I know when they built the range up there to begin with, did the city of White Lakes donate then?
Historically, I'd have to look into that, Mayor. I don't know for sure, but
Okay.
I do know the city does receive mining effects dollars, and it is for, like Mitch said, cooperative projects as this would be. And I feel there would be funds to give. I don't know if you want to match what Town of White is doing, but in 2020, we received over $90,000 in my.
So John, I have a quote. Yep.
Chris, I can help you out there. Yep. Yes, both White Lakes and Aurora and Town of White contributed to the building of the range.
Okay.
I don't remember what year it was, but I know they contributed.
Kenny?
Yeah. And I just want to let you guys know, in the past, Public Works has contributed in-kind service. We've been up there with our equipment, assisting in projects up there as well.
Yes, very much so, very much appreciated.
John, I have a question for you. Is there any more in-kind service needed?
Well, it all depends what happens with Town of White doing it there. We're kind of got guys on our own, and I'm going to be damn near living up there, I think, this spring. But the only part that I can see inside service is some materials and maybe some landscaping when this all gets done, and we're not sure how much it's going to be. It's just a matter of trying to get it all done. Masabi, whether it's concrete or whatever it is, it's going to be building a building. Yeah, Masabi, there you go. It's going to be building the buildings. And Town of White's going to go up the excavator and clean some stuff up again. But later, I'm not sure. Dirt and stuff and landscaping might be needed. I'm not sure.
Okay. Any other questions by the council? What's the council's flavor here?
I'd like to see us, what we do have available to donate, if we could match the $5,000 like Town of White is doing, if we had those funds available. If anyone else thinks that's a good idea.
Becky, you don't see an issue with that? Okay, Councilor Peterson, would you like to make a motion for $5,000 to help with the project?
Yeah, I'll make the motion that the city of Hoyt Lakes pledge $5,000 toward the project.
Okay, is there support?
I would support that.
Support by Councilor Pop. Any other discussion? Not hearing any. Let's have a roll call.
Sims,
Yes.
Pop. Counselor Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Yes.
Becky, I can't hear you.
Counselor Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Does that help, John?
It helps tremendously, and thank you. And if you guys ever want to see something, we shoot Monday nights with the kids for trap. Just come up there and watch. So all them kids are just beaming and shining, and we start at 4 o'clock. We go to probably after 6, and it's kind of fun to watch them kids up there trying and shooting and just enjoying having a good time. And I'm sure the skeet will add to all this too. So I very much appreciate it, and thank everyone for their confidence.
Thank you for coming on, John. Have a nice night now. Okay, moving on to Sarah Carling, Megan Christensen, and Beth Pierce. I don't know which one of you gals want to take the lead. This is got to do with the Mississippi to the Iron Range Historical Mine Tour. I think there's something in the package here, everybody.
Yes, there should be something in the packet, you guys. My name is Sarah Carling. I represent an organization called CETA, which is Community Economic Development Associates, and I have a contract with Itasca County to do economic development in rural communities. I'm going to get into a PowerPoint, but before I do that, we've got Megan on the call as well as Beth Pierce, and those are partners that are on this project we're about to present to you tonight. Am I sharing my screen? Can you see my screen?
Not right now.
No, cannot.
Becky, did you give me permission?
Good.
I just don't see my button that I need. So I may not have the ability to do that tonight. But you guys have the PowerPoint in your packets, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so let's just go through it that way. And I'll just go slide by slide for you. So to give you a little bit of information, the way we got started with this, as I mentioned before, I have that contract with Itasca County, and I support 16 different communities and then also countywide initiatives. So a lot of this COVID stuff has hit, and so that means that I'm reaching out to businesses as well. So I see a large picture, and I've been doing this work since 2019. So I'm going into my third year. With that being said, one of the things that I did while reaching out to these communities is doing brainstorm sessions to identify projects. And the idea came out that we didn't have a reason for people to visit our community. We have a strong history and we don't know how to display it. And also, when asked what are their untapped resources, it was usually the mine pits. So one of those nights where, you're restless, you can't sleep, you're thinking about work. The idea hit me that we should be doing a historical mine tour. And why not do it as a regional mine tour and encompassing all of the mine areas that we have throughout the Northeast region of Minnesota? So with that being said, if you go to the slide two where it says, how did we get started? That's kind of the slide that I'm talking about right now. And that's, we're looking for ways to provide a no cost, informative, family friendly, or independent way to discover the area through an interactive user experience. We believe that the idea is to drive a positive regional growth opportunities through utilizing the community, the history, and then also having a positive economic impact to the businesses and just the community as a whole. We've been collaborating with multiple organizations. So if you go to the partner slide, that's a list of the partners that are currently active on this project. So that's obviously myself, Megan Christensen with Visit Grand Rapids, Beth Pierce with Iron Range Tourism, Lila Crow, which is the Itasca Historical Society, Charlie Moore with ARDC, and that's for the mapping portion, and then Artie with the Mesabi Trail. If you go to the next slide, which is the Google Map layout, this is just a high level of the impacted areas of our identified locations thus far. Also to be added to this would be Ely Tower and Silver Bay. So I just want to make sure that you understand the breadth of this actual project itself. If you go to the next slide, it's communities that are impacted. There are 23 communities that are impacted with 30 identified mine locations that will be highlighted. Each of these communities will be receiving the same presentation as you are tonight. So I just want to be clear about that going forward, so you have an understanding that you're not the only one we're hitting up and we're talking to about this project. As for the next slide, it's called video mapping and the highlights. If you want to skip that slide and go to the slide that's actually the map, Megan, do you want to discuss that? Or would you like me to?
I can discuss. You can hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Megan Christensen. I'm with Visit Grand Rapids, and I have done 2 of these projects so far. I did a project with the Edge of the Wilderness Scenic Byway. We video mapped the entire length of the byway. We did new video and photography assets in each community. We highlighted trails and outdoor recreation access points on the map as well. And then we did video as well as photography. So we did aerial video and we did in-community video with people in the images. So we had a good mix of outdoor recreation and dining, shopping, and outdoor recreation. We would like to do the same thing with this mines tour. It is from the Mississippi to the North Shore now, because we have included all the way to Silver Bay. The other project that we did was the Grand Rapids Art and History Project. We highlighted all of the public accessible history and historic sites in Grand Rapids. You can find both of these maps on visitgrandrapids.com maps page. There's a tab at the top called Maps, and it'll take you there. On our YouTube page, we have uploaded all of the video assets to our page for these projects as well. So each community got a highlight video, and then the Edge of the Wilderness Scenic Byway in its entirety has a video. And then we did a shortened video so that we could do some pre-roll video digital ads with. We received, for Edge of the Wilderness, we received about 150 images. And for the Grand Rapids Art and History Video Mapping Project, we received about 120 new photos. and in addition to the videos. So the Esri mapping is an interactive mapping tool that allows you to interact on a map as you want. So you can pick a site, a location where you're at, and spur off from there, or you can start from number 1 and go down to number 30. The map perspective gives you a background map. An overlay comes up as a narrative with a strong image, and you can upload as many as 10 images. So there's dots at the bottom of the picture that tells you how many images there are in that portfolio. You can embed a video link, and you can embed Google links as well. So if you scroll down to the narrative section, it says go here or navigate here, and you click on that and it connects with the Google map. So when you're on your mobile device, it'll give you driving directions right from your phone. And you can do that for every section, every attraction that you go on the map. So if you want to go from one attraction to the next, you might want to skip another one. You just scroll down and pick where you want to go. We also created a Google map. The Google map is for search engine optimization purposes. Google is the #1 search engine out there, and it helps you get SEO value or search engine optimization for your community, area businesses, and area attractions. Does anybody have any questions?
On that portion.
On that portion, sorry. It's pretty cool. It's interactive. It's all mobile optimized. ARDC has the Esri software certification, and they have a mapper that creates that for us. The 2 projects that we did with the Grand Rapids Arts and the Edge of the Wilderness, they took about 12 months each to complete. The Mine project, we're expecting about the same time frame.
Thanks, Meg. So as she was mentioning, you can see on that map, you're going to see a number 4 with a highlighted photo on the left-hand side, and that 4 little dots on the bottom. That's what she's talking about, is indicating those individual photos. If you were to look above that photo, you'll see where it says navigate here. If someone were a user from their mobile device were to click on that, that's what would provide them that Google mapping that she's discussing with you. So if we move forward, talking about just the goals and the products, this is to help market and promote the mine areas and attract new visitors to Northeast Minnesota. We're kind of using hospitality and tourism as an economic driver. And, in today's world with this awesome pandemic that we're dealing with, it has never been more important than to highlight the businesses that we have and the attractions that we have within our community. Because as we all know, it's a struggle out there. And I also think that it's really important to be able to highlight what each individual community has as a uniqueness, to be able to highlight those things and draw people into your area and to allow them to partake in those, create those memories, while also then highlighting, not only your amenities, but also, the restaurants, those kinds of things. So if people are spending more time at a park or at a mine location, they may then stop and get lunch at your local restaurant. And that's kind of our hope and our whole goal behind this. So we're providing an interactive way, and that's what we just showed you, an interactive way to explore and learn about new active, inactive, and reclaimed mine areas. The goal, like I mentioned, is to create a positive economic impact while traveling through travel and tourism, while highlighting interesting, geological locations. And we'll be working with each individual community to help identify additional amenities that we can actually highlight within your independent community. As Meg mentioned, there's videos and there's photography that will be taken for each of these communities that were mentioned. So the 23 communities will each have photography and videography completed for them. So it's new, updated information. All of that information would then be provided to the communities to use for social media, for marketing, for website updates, you name it. So that would be something that would just be a great portfolio portion for the community itself. And like I mentioned, we'd also be highlighting the businesses and attractions that you would like us to also highlight. So going into the community gain, I just already kind of mentioned a lot of those things, but it is a regional marketing campaign. We have plans to do a regional marketing campaign, seeing as that it's such a large breadth of area that it's spanning. Our plan is to have like a QR code on each of our interpretive signs explaining, the history of the location, the history of the community, the impact of the mine that it had in the area. and just sharing that unique story. So that QR code, for example, say someone goes to Skibo and they scan that QR code, they may have a reason now to go, maybe they didn't even know that this route existed, but they scan that QR code, they're going to see that interactive mapping populate on their phone. And that'll give them more of a reason to go and explore other areas in and around Hoyt Lakes. So it's just really important that they're able to see all of the other things that you guys have to offer, as well as regionally what we have to offer. If we go into the draft budget, that would be one of the more important pages that you're going to want to look at. Esri mapping actually is about $7,400, $7,500, but they're actually using a portion of a grant to help reduce our costs. The rest of it is broken down. And if you look at phase one, we're at about $91,600 for a total project cost. But there is a phase two that's also in a portion of that. So our total project with phase one and phase two is approximately $155,000. So if you go to the next page, I almost said scroll. If you go to the next page, you're going to see where our current commitments are. We've only spoke with 3 communities thus far, and those 3 communities have already pledged the amounts that you see. So 2,000 from Nashwauk, Cohasset's pledged 5,000, and Bovie's pledged 1,500. You just so happen to be our first community in St. Louis County due to logistics of city council meetings. But what we're asking tonight is for 2 things. We're asking for a letter of support, that you support this and you support the mining, and just making sure that that history and that story is told both from the mining perspective and your community's perspective, as well as we're asking for a monetary donation or contribution towards this project to help meet our matching fund requirements for larger grants that we'll be seeking through IRRR, Blandon, and some other organizations, as well as like possibly the Cleveland Cliff Foundation. So with that being said, we've been asking communities thus far for a minimum of $1,000 donation, but anything, as you can see, over that has been asked and received. So with that, I'm going to open this up for questions, comments, concerns, and then we can have a dialogue after that.
Any questions for Sarah?
I don't think I have the most current PowerPoint. Can you tell me again which? It was Cohasset, Nashwauk, and Bovie that have donated so far. Can you tell me those amounts again?
Absolutely. So Nashwauk gave us 2,000, Cohasset gave 5,000, and Bovie gave 1,500. And just so you know, for just overall information, Nashwauk has 2 identified locations within their community, so they felt to give $1,000 per location. Cohasset only has 1, and Bovie has 1, just so everything is out there on the table.
Any other questions for Sarah? Sarah, I got a question. I see you have East Range Joint Powers Board on there. We're a member of that. And
yep.
I know they donate to things like this too. I'm wondering, Council, if we don't see what the East Range Joint Powers Board is willing to do, which is part of our funding anyway, and maybe they can donate as an East Range too. So everybody's thoughts on that.
I will let you know I was in contact with Kyle through, Northland Connections. And I think he kind of administers that location or that board. And he mentioned that I should be reaching out to him in March. I think that's when they kind of do like the budget talk, March, April in there. But there wasn't a lot of significant meaning behind the funding, if that makes sense. There wasn't a lot of big dollars, if you will. So I'm just putting that out there. We've already talked about it, Kyle and I have.
I am on the East Range Joint Powers Board, and we are meeting at 9:00 tomorrow morning. So that's why I brought it up. Yeah, I thought, I can bring that up at tomorrow's meeting, unless somebody on the council wants to make a recommendation right now.
I was wondering, the money that we are accessing, like for the ski range, is that the same pool of money that we could access for something like this, since it's a community type thing?
Becky?
Well, like I said earlier, the mining affects us for cooperative projects. So 2 or more communities have to be involved. So I think the East Range Joint Powers Board would be the good avenue to check into that And if each city would contribute, then it would be a cooperative effort, and we could use those monies. The city council also has, we have like a tourism type budget that I think if it was going to be $1,000, that would be doable out of that tourism budget.
Any other questions from the council? Anybody want to make a recommendation on any funding right now?
I think in light of everything that's been discussed here in the last few minutes, I think it's a great project. I think it's well worth donating to. I think we should look at it, like you said, Chris, at the Joint Powers Board meeting tomorrow. And
Okay.
And I don't think make a monetary commitment tonight, but I think we definitely would make some sort of commitment to be part of that and to donate something.
Okay. Does that sound fair, Sarah?
Yeah, can I interject for just a second on that? Because of our timelines for grants, what I would request is that if you can possibly make a decision within the next 2 weeks, is that fair?
We can, Becky, would you put it on our next council meeting then? And our next council meeting is February 8th.
Okay. And then
So
the other thing I was going to say is just for the letter of support. I don't know if you have to make a motion to make a letter of support, but if you're able to do that, that would also be greatly appreciated. And the earlier we can receive that, the better, so we can compile all that information for the grants that we are trying to write.
Okay. Could I get a motion for a letter of support that we can write for this project?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councillor Zins. Is there support?
I'll support that.
Support by Councillor Pop. Any other discussion? And then Becky will put something together, then I'll sign it and send it off, okay?
Right, we need to do a roll call, Mayor.
Yep, no, I know, I'm just waiting for discussion.
Can I add
no
one
other
more
dis-
thing?
Yep,
I'm going to send, Becky, I'll send you the updated PowerPoint so that, Mayor, you have that for tomorrow's meeting if you want to bring it up.
Okay.
And then I'll also provide my contact information if you need to get in contact with me.
perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Councillor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Phelan.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time.
Okay, Beth, do you have anything? Beth, you have anything, or are you just listening?
I just think it's a great project, and there's lots of benefit for you in that you'll have new photography, for you to use. And so that right there is a benefit for the community. So it's a great project.
Okay, thank you. Thank you guys for coming. We'll move on to reports from staff. Recreation Golf Arena Supervisor, Wade West.
Arena's running fine. Ice plant is working great right now. We had games this weekend and got through multiple games through sanitizing locker room in between games and door handles and everything people touch, and it went very well. I was happy with the way it went. So other than that, not much going on, just normal hockey stuff right now.
Okay, any questions for Wade? Kenny, Public Works Supervisor, Kenny Snesiger.
Yeah, not a lot from me tonight. Just want to let everybody know our new employee, Steve Peterson, started this past week. The very first day he worked, we got snow, so that was perfect. We got him in a truck and got him going there. We've also been working on, now that he's aboard, my goal is to get everybody more cross-trained. So on yesterday's snow, we played a little musical chairs, if you will, as to get everybody familiar with everybody else's routes and piece of equipment, in the chance that somebody is sick or on vacation when that person's not available. So it's gonna help out tremendously having a full staff again. And now in between the snows, we're just getting caught up on a list that I've had here of projects, more or less indoor projects around several of the different buildings and stuff like that. So we're keeping busy with that. Other than that, just consent agenda if no one has questions.
No questions for Kenny? All right, EMS Director Melanie Olmsted.
I pretty much just have agenda items tonight. Well, I did have one request from both myself and Chief House regarding training. Are we going to be able to train anytime soon? Our morale is way down in the department where we've had a handful of trainings in well over a year, and it's starting to wear on everyone. And especially on the fire side, I think we need to get down there and do some stuff.
Well, is everybody on the fire and ambulance, everybody got their 2 shots?
I would say 50%. A lot of them chose not to get it, but yeah, we're about 50% vaccinated.
Well, in my opinion, if you and Tony feel you can do it safely, I don't have an issue with it. Any of the rest of the council?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, guys should set up some kind of schedule. Just
Okay.
follow the bylaws or the rules that Walls has got out. That's all.
Yeah, the Minnesota Department of Health said 25% room capacity. You still have to maintain social distance and wear a mask and sanitize. So it's pretty much what we do now. We're just not there.
Okay.
So
all right. Anything else?
Me and Chief House will come up with something.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. City Clerk Treasurer Becky Birch. City Attorney Mitch Bunfeld.
Mayor and Council, I just have some agenda items coming up that I'll comment on later.
Okay, I got everybody, didn't I? And making sure I'm seeing everybody there. So we'll jump down to reports from City Council and Mayor. Councilor Zins.
Nothing tonight.
Councilor Pop.
Just agenda items, Mayor.
Okay. Councilor Peterson.
Just agenda items.
Councilor Kramer.
Nothing.
Okay, I got a couple quick things. I know at our special meetings I brought it up, but just since the public is on here tonight, the city did receive a $250,000 grant from IEEE for our water tower project this summer, which is going to help fund that tremendously. We were going to have to borrow for most of that. So that's a good thing. And Minnesota Power is working on a large solar farm out at Lasker, which is also exciting news for the city. It'd be more tax base. And then the other just general item I have is the ATV snowmobile trails have been groomed a couple times, and with this snow, we're all lined up to groom all the trails Wednesday and Thursday. So the trails are starting to be in pretty good shape. 1 or 2 more snows, they should be really good. So that's all I have. Thank you. Moving down to old business, item 8A. Mel?
I don't have my packet in front of me, so.
This is the agreement between the city of Boabic and the city of Hoyt Lakes ambulance coverage.
Yeah, so EMS director in Boabic, Pam, and I discussed some things, and they, starting February 1st, will be taking over Fridays. So we will only be covering them from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Wednesdays and Thursdays. We're going to revisit in a couple months, and my hope is by April they take another day, and by June 1st we're done covering Boabic service area. They did have a 12-month length of that contract, but Becky emailed Jeff Jacobson and Boabic, and they did agree to end it June 1st, Becky. So our contract is through June 1st with Boabic. So we're trying to inch our way out of there. If not, there'll need to be some further negotiations.
Okay. Just FYI for the public out there and for Councilor Kramer that about 1.5 years ago or so, Boabic was real short with EMTs. They were having trouble getting their ambulance out. So we agreed to help them out during the week. And we started off Monday through Friday. We're down to 2 days a week now. If we get called to Boabic, we are allowed to bill, so we get paid for the run, but we're helping them out. And they've been doing a pretty good job. I think they've got some more EMTs on board. So like Mel said, we're down to 2 days a week, and hopefully by June they'll be back at full enough staff that they'll be able to take most of their runs. So Becky, do we need a motion on this?
Yes.
Any other discussion for Mel? Not hearing any. Could I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a
I'll make
motion.
the motion.
This is
Motion by
great.
Counselor Pop, support.
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Peterson. Roll call. Having
Counselor,
trouble hearing you, Becky.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Item B, ambulance tuition agreement, EMS director, city attorney. Nell?
Yeah, so I crudely wrote a contract and Mitch fixed it for me, back last summer. I think October I sent him some, things I would like added to it, and then, I haven't received it back yet. We do have 3 or 4, EMTs currently in the program, so the sooner I can get them to sign that contract, better.
Okay, we don't have it in front of us tonight, though.
No, it's not completed.
Okay, so it's just for general discussion tonight.
Right, I had reworked it quite a bit. I think there might be a couple of, like Mel mentioned, a couple of items she wanted added. I'll have to circle back with her and get those clarified as to exactly what those are. So we'll get that ready and have it ready for approval at the next meeting.
Perfect.
Okay.
Are we good with that?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, item C, ordinance 222, an ordinance repealing and replacing the definition of vehicle in section 91.02 of the Hoyt Lake City Code. Dan?
Yeah, this is something that Mitch has been working on for us. It was to be able to, the definition did not include boats and campers, and I just wanted to make sure we are starting to get an accumulation of boats that haven't moved for many, many years in the town, and they're probably unlicensed and not knowing whether they're going to be used. It's just going to give us a vehicle to have the blight officer to be able to enforce this ordinance and to get some of them removed or sold, whatever the owners want to do with them. So,
Mitch, is this a final one here for us then, Mitch?
Yeah, except it's just discussion purposes tonight because there's a requirement that it actually has to be published it has to be posted and published for 10 days to the public before you can take official action on it. So I think we are currently in that posting period. So this is just for your information tonight. You will take official action on this at the next meeting.
Okay. Any questions from the council on this? Not hearing any. This looks good, Dan and Mitch. I think this should help clean up some of those vehicles that weren't listed. So, okay, we'll move on to COVID-19 city buildings. Approved request dated January 21st, 2021 of North Star Lanes for refund of 2020 liquor license. The $1,200. We did this for the Haven last week. The North Star Lanes is requesting the same thing.
yeah, I guess the only thing I'd like to interject there, Mayor, is I think, and I know I was the only one at the last meeting to not be in favor of the full refund. I think the reason we had that ordinance adjusted was for cases just like this. The calculations that I came up with, with them, they were fully closed for 129 days. They were open for 75 and about 160 at 50%. So the number they were asking for, $600, I think I came up with $690, but I'm just worried we set a precedence with the Haven, and I think we need to be very cautious about just outright giving 100% credit when they haven't been closed 100%. I don't think that was the reason the ordinance was changed. I think it was changed so we could make calculations to to help the businesses out. And that's, and I'm 100% helping them. And we did stick our neck out, and we basically gave them their license for 2021 for nothing. So we did help them considerably. So just comments. So.
Yeah, well, I think the bars and restaurants in town have lost tremendous amounts of money this year. I'm surprised they're still open. So I personally don't think the $1,200 is out of line with how much money they've most likely lost this year. And with my thoughts is we gave the Haven the $1,200. I don't know how it would be fair to give the Haven $1,200 and then not the North Star Lanes.
Mhm.
What's the rest of the council think?
I
I'm
think
in
we should give
agreement
them.
with the mayor.
Yep, me too.
Any other discussion? Becky, so the question I have, it says in our packet that for the $1,200, but his letter says $600.
600 is one half. But he also requested, being we granted another entity the full refund.
Yeah.
He also said, obviously he would take the full refund too if we've done that for other people. So
Okay.
it's
Well,
discretion what you want to do.
yeah, we only have the two in town that have the full. I mean, the other ones in town are the VFW and bonds, and neither one of them are very big numbers. I think they're about $200 or something. So I guess I'll look for a motion on this.
I'll make the motion.
For?
Oh, sorry. I'll make the motion that we refund the $1,200 to North Star Lanes.
There's a motion on the floor to refund North Star Lanes $1,200. Is there support?
I'll support that.
Support by Councilor Zins. Any other discussion? Not hearing any. Roll call.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
No.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. And then there's the city buildings on there too. I was talking to city staff today. Betsy and Tammy feel that a lot of people are coming in the lobby. They're just walking out to the lobby anyway. That they feel they're ready to open. The desks are back in place. The phone system's up and running, and they'd only be handing it through the slot in the window. So they both requested to me that they feel it's just as safe to be open since nobody's actually coming in anymore, and they're actually walking out. When I was there earlier, a couple of people came in, they walked out to the lobby and handed it to them anyway. So I don't, with the library open and everything else. So what's the council's thought on that?
I'm fine with you guys opening as long as they're comfortable. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
Anybody else?
I think if they're comfortable with it, then we would take the lead from them.
Okay. Dan or Dave?
I agree.
Again, I think I guess it's the girls know the best down there, but I think in light of being short one person and the upcoming things that we have going on in the office there, I would sooner wait until we have at least that part-time position filled, if that's what we're going to do, because it is going to create extra distractions. And from what Becky said, the girls are very, very busy at this time, and any distractions we can eliminate, I think, would be helpful. So
The only question I have, they brought it up to me, Dan. They said it's less distractions. They don't have to be walking outside or to the curb every time they've got to bring something to somebody, that they can actually just slide it through the window instead of going outside. Like as an example, everybody that needs to pick up their dog license, they either got to walk out to the hallway or walk outside to deliver it. And Betsy and Tammy both thought it would actually save them some time right now. So, Becky, do we want to have a motion on this or?
That would be acceptable. I believe they're ready to open tomorrow, if that's acceptable to council, but we wouldn't be able to get a public notice in the shopper till the weekend, but we'll get it on the website and the doors. I would still like this one entry to be employee only and for any outsiders to use the main library entrance and the front door only. So we'll do signage to make sure that's followed.
Okay.
But they're running outside and it's below zero and waiting for people to come and watching the parking lot. And so I think this is a good solution to that.
Could I have a motion on that?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Counselor Peterson. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Kramer. Roll call.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Going to new business, item A, to reschedule the following regular, well, that was, we did that already with that. Those were two meetings we were just changing because of holidays. Going to item B, to approve the hiring of Megan Williams as part-time EMT pending the successful completion of the required city testing. Is Mel still on? If not, Dave?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you are.
Yes.
You did the interview and
She interviewed and did the physical agility and passed all of it. Yeah.
okay. Dave, any questions?
No,
Comments?
I was there for the interview and the agility test, so I will make a motion that we approve the hiring of Megan Williams as a part-time EMT pending the completion of required city testing.
Motion by Counselor Zins. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Counselor Peterson. Roll call, please.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Item C, live barn venue agreement for automated sports broadcasting system at the arena. Supervisor Wade West or Counselor Peterson, I'm not real sure what this is all about.
Youth hockey would like to install the live barn. It's an internet-based thing. They mount a camera in there and people can watch the hockey games. Being you can only have 2 spectators per child, this would allow grandparents, aunts, and uncles to watch the game.
Okay, Counselor Peterson?
There's no cost to the city. The way that they make their money is by purchasing the app, the Live Barn app. And then, so there's that cost. So that's how they make their money. And so it's completely free to install it and everything. Mitch, did you have a chance to look at the agreement?
We did. Yep. I looked at the agreement. I'm generally fine with the agreement. I didn't really see anything in here that was of major concern. The only thing I was thinking, and it was something that Wade had mentioned in an email, and that is, I just wonder if it would be more appropriate for youth hockey to enter into this agreement as opposed to the city. The way that would work is that the agreement would be revised. Instead of referring to the venue owner, it would just be referred to as the venue lessee or the venue renter or something like that. And then we could simply amend our agreement with youth hockey to simply grant youth hockey permission to enter into this agreement with Live Barn, that we would grant permission for Live Barn to be able to set this up in the arena. But otherwise, all contractual responsibilities would rest with youth hockey as opposed to the city. So that just as far as administering it, since it's something that really is more specifically for the benefit of youth hockey and the players and their families, maybe we would have them enter into this agreement with Live Barn instead of the city itself. So, but that's up to the council. That's a discretionary decision for you to make. If the city goes ahead and approves this agreement, the only provisions that I would eliminate would be section 7.9, where it talks about this agreement is governed by and interpreted in accordance with the laws of the state of New York. That would have to be changed to the state of Minnesota in section 7.9. And then also in section 7.10, they have a confidentiality provision in there that the terms and provisions of the agreement are confidential, which of course is a public body. You know, we're not allowed to enter into that type of a confidentiality provision. So, you know, I would want to see those couple of changes made if the city is going to in fact be a party to this agreement. But again, it's up to the council whether you want to do this or whether you want to ask youth hockey to be the contracting party. And again, if it's going to be youth hockey, then we would simply give youth hockey written permission that they're allowed to set this up in the city's arena, but they have to accept all contractual responsibilities.
Counselor Peterson, are you okay with that?
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Okay.
I guess the question I would have, and maybe Wade, you could answer, is for when there's high school games there, is this something that would then also be turned on for the high school games? So it's not entirely youth hockey?
It's on all the time.
Yeah, and I don't know, I'm not exactly sure how that would work because some of the high school games are actually televised. So
Yeah,
I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, and I can comment on that, and that might be another reason why it's beneficial to have youth hockey do it, because there is also an exclusivity section in this contract where basically what they're saying is that for us as the venue owner, that anything that's going to be broadcast from our arena for basically these types of events have to be done through this live barn as an exclusive vendor. And, you know, that does pose a little bit of a problem when we do have high school games at the arena where those are sometimes broadcast on local cable access. If we're allowing local cable access to broadcast a high school game, is that going to be a violation of the exclusivity provision? Whereas if youth hockey is the contracting party, then it can be defined that this really applies to basically, youth hockey games as opposed to high school games that would be broadcast by local cable access.
That makes a lot of sense that it goes with youth hockey then. So it's strictly for youth hockey games. Because I think, Wade, what do you have, 4 high school games scheduled there this year?
Well, yes, I have 4 scheduled. But the boys' high school team is shut down now from a COVID outbreak. So I believe that they'll be out of it. I don't think they'll miss a game in Hoyt Lakes.
Okay.
So I should 4 games.
Okay, so Councilor Peterson, if you want to make that motion, having youth hockey do this, fill out this then?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilor Peterson, have youth hockey do the live barn. Is there support?
I would support that.
Support by Councilor Pop. Any other discussion? Not hearing any. Roll call.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Vreeland.
Yes, motion carries. Next item, city administrator, clerk, treasurer wage, and schedule a special city council meeting to vet the applications. The applications are done on the 5th of February. I would just as soon talk about the salary at that meeting. So the council can have some time to look at it and think about what we want to do. And so the 5th is a week from Friday. I would imagine we'd want to meet the following week sometime. What's everybody thinking? Anything that works? Monday night, we got a council meeting and we got a police at 6:30. We had a police meeting at 4:30. I'm open Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh,
9th or 10th. 9th
Yeah,
or
I think
10th,
we
you
should
good?
do it as soon as possible. Tuesday would be fine with me.
Tuesday the 9th. Deb, are you good with that?
Yep, that works for me.
Dave?
Yes, works for me also.
What times everybody want to go? We could go a little earlier. I mean, whatever works. Dan and I are the retired guys, so you know, you the rest of you that are working, gotta let us know.
5.
5 look good to everybody?
Yep, that works for me.
Okay. Well, motion to schedule a special council meeting for the 9th of February at 5 o'clock to discuss the city administrator job applications and to discuss the administrator clerk treasurer wage. That motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilor Zins. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Kramer. Roll call.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Breland.
Yes, motion carries. To approve, item E, to approve the application of Wesley Boyle for the part-time position of recycle center attendant. Kenny, you still on? I think this was the only application we got.
Yeah, as of Thursday or Friday last week when Becky did the packet, at that time Wesley was the only application we had received. I was informed this morning that another one was turned in. I reviewed both applications and I think that Wesley is obviously the fit for this position. He worked here for 40 plus years and many times he had filled in at the recycle center when the attendants weren't available. So, no training would be required. He's currently on the city's payroll. He's worked part-time for us in the past year doing cemetery and other recycling duties. So I just was unaware at the time when our current person had turned in their notice that Wesley was interested in this position. It was already advertised, when I found that out. So we can, go through the applications, but my recommendation is to hire Wes Boyle for the position.
Any other discussion or questions for Kenny? Not hearing any. Is there a motion to accept Kenny's recommendation?
I would make that motion.
Motion by Councilor Pop. Support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Peterson. Roll call.
Counselor Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Breland.
Yes, motion carries. One thing I missed, everybody, is under 9D was that payroll. You've got in your packet the costs, what our auditors would charge for payroll. I'm not ready to vote on. I'm not really sure what this is all entailed. Let's add this to that special meeting on the 9th. Dave and I are setting up a meeting to meet with Betsy and Tammy, and we'll get a little better handle on this. I think we need to have a little more information on that. So are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And we are down to item F, to accept the resignation letter from Jane House from the Fire EMS Department effective February 1, 2021. Mel, how many years did she have on? Is Mel still on or not?
I'm here. Oh, just kidding.
How many years did she have?
I have no idea, and I was unaware of her request for resignation. So this is news to me. I had no time to prepare a speech.
It said something about having a hard time working with the new EMS.
I heard she's know what.
That's probably the letter that I got there. Okay.
Yeah.
Get a motion.
Her letter says 19 years.
Oh, okay.
19.
Thank you. Yeah. So, is there a motion to accept Jane's retirement notice?
I would make a motion to regretfully accept her letter. It's she's been very dedicated. It's going to be sad to see her go. So,
thank you, Dan. So, in with that, Dan, will you, in part of your motion, sending her a letter of thanking her for years of service?
absolutely, yes.
Okay. Is there support?
I'll support that.
Support by Councilor Zins. Any other discussion? Not hearing any. Roll call.
Zins,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we can't hear you, Becky. I don't know what's going on.
Kramer,
Yes.
I am screaming. Mayor Breland,
Yes, motion carries. And
I have to
anything
learn
else?
the lip read.
Yeah. And anything else to come up in front of the council tonight? No,
Mayor, may I
Yes.
interject?
Yes.
I just wanted to mention, I sent you a chat that has my contact information. If you could just give me a call at your earliest convenience, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Are you talking to me, Sarah?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I will.
Do you see my number in your chat? My phone number?
I come on now. Chat? Really? You think I know how to open up my chat, Sarah? Really?
There's a little bubble on the bottom of your screen.
I don't see anything on the bottom of my screen, so.
Okay.
I have your number, Sarah. I can give it to Mayor.
Will you please send that to him so he can give me a call? And if you can do that tonight, that'd probably be best so I can have time to prepare some stuff for you for tomorrow's meeting.
Okay, so you want me to call you tonight?
If you can.
Okay, yep,
Thank you.
all right.
Sorry, guys.
No, anything else? If not, we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
A motion.
Motion by Councilor Kramer to adjourn. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Peterson. Roll call.
Hens,
Yes.
Pop,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Mayor Breland.
Yes, motion carries. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.